What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. Today's video, we're taking a look at a strong Retro Cup team here in the GO Battle League with 2 Dragons and a Crustle. That's right. Dragon is so oppressive as an offensive typing in the Retro Cup. You could run it every which way you want to, and in this case, we chose to use it with Dragonair on the lead to catch the Talonflames and the Lanturns, just like in the video you did yesterday with the Whiscash. This team was super strong, brought to me by one of my Patreon subscribers, Orange Jervis. Thank you very much for the team, my dude. It slapped for almost everybody that picked it up in the server, and if you'd like access to those teams and other things like my teams, early access to meta-analysis, early access to what you think you should be building in the GO Battle League, all of that stuff's available in the server. Patreon link is in the description of the pinned comment. Please consider checking it out. It supports me and my family, and I appreciate it greatly. Let's take a look at these battles in the Retro Cup as we get into these games here. Taking our first game into a Poliwrath lead. Actually, not a very comfortable lead whatsoever, as they have Icy Wind, but thankfully the Dragon Breath is ripping through this Poliwrath a little bit quicker than I expected it to, honestly. And you could play this team with Double Dragon in the back. We're playing it ABA because Dragonair is an extremely strong core breaker in this meta, as it's able to really take advantage of other things like Lanturn, Talonflame, and etc. And Altaria is just back there as another bulky Dragon Breath user, because there really isn't a whole lot of bulky Dragon Breath users outside of Altaria that are available in this meta. So even though Altaria is one of the first things that I'll say, why are you using this trainer? It's not that great. In this particular meta, it does very well because it's able to outbulk a lot of things just due to its sheer stat product. And Crustle's back there as that thing that beats ice types. Dragonair is very good into most ice types in general. But Crustle's back there just to, do its thing. Now, this is a very dangerous game. I look to shield up a potential Dragon Claw or Superpower, as I would expect it to do more damage, and I just need to get to an X-Scissor here, even though it's resisted. I'm hoping it's enough. An Icy Wind is not going to be enough. The opponent dipped out as soon as they got the move off, and that's going to be a good game here, as the opponent just concedes. So, well played. Getting into the next game here, we've got Dragonair versus the Lanturn. It's everywhere. In Great League, in Retro Cup, it's on every gosh darn team. And here it is, staying in against the Dragonair. Now, you might be wondering why we're running Dragon Pulse, because we don't have Aqua Tail. Dragon Pulse, this is why.
Boom!
Bye, Lanturn! See? That's why we run Dragon Pulse. And there's the Talonflame. This trainer has no good answer to the Dragonair at all on their team. Going to throw the Body Slam, as I would expect this to draw a shield, because they don't know if I have Body Slam or Aqua Tail yet. And the opponent now immediately goes for a charge move. I'm going to let this go. I have an Altaria in the back that can deal with Dragon Breath, but the opponent goes for the Flame Charge, and the Crustle nearly takes it out, and Superior is going to have to deal with being down a shield, dealing with Altaria, and super effective X-Scissors coming its way. Unfortunately, this particular team has nowhere to go here against the Altaria. Honestly, Altaria solos this entire team just about, but that's okay. Frenzy Plant nearly going to take out my Crustle here, and the Altaria comes in, cleans up, and that's basically a good game here. Well played. Now, the fly damage from Talonflame could be enough to shake that moveset a little bit more in its favor than if you were to deal with the Brave Bird, but the Brave Bird is what allows Talonflame to KO in that matchup, so that's it. In the next game, we've got Dragonair versus a Magcargo. Now, 2 things can happen, right? They might be running Rock Throw, or they might be running Incinerate. This one is running Incinerate, and they are going to have to be very afraid of the Aqua Tail before they go for their move. Now, I shield up. It's probably a Rock Tomb, but instead this person respectfully running Stone Edge, and now they have Venusaur. I'm going for the Dragon Pulse. Does this trainer respect it? And they absolutely do not. So Altaria comes and gets the full farm down after that. They don't even get a charge move off. Opponent does have 2 shields to my 1, and their Magcargo does have a decent way in here. And Magcargo is surprisingly bulky, honestly. I didn't expect it to do so much, take so little damage from these Dragon Breaths. But Altaria is going to be able to get the shield, as the opponent does have to respect some damage, because even though a Sky Attack is resisted, it would put them very low, and if they want to keep it alive, they can. But the Stone Edge, not quite enough to KO, but because of the boosted Incinerate damage, they're all going to be able to take out almost. Now, I was looking to go for the Sky Attack, but the opponent made a very nice snipe there with the with the Lanturn, able to take out my Altaria and neutralize all that energy that I was going to use. But I still have my Dragonair, and their Lanturn is not long for this world, as I'm going to be able to either take this and farm down with Crustle, or I could have shielded and farmed down. But I'm going to farm down with my Crustle. I'm going to save the shield for the Crustle, as the opponent only has 2 Incinerates worth of energy, meaning they should need a third one still for their next move, and I should be able to farm down with 1 Smackdown at the HP that they were at, so that'll be a good game here. Crustle putting on its closing hat and doing the job. Well played. Dragonair into Conkeldurr. So this is not a matchup that I'm familiar with by any means, but the thing that I can use here is when the opponent gets to their first charge move, if I can see how much damage these Dragon Breaths have done, right? It would be reasonable to assume that they've thrown right away, so I should be able to simply Dragon Breath the rest of the way down, and then have energy for whatever's in the back. This is kind of what this team likes to do, is it really does like to just kind of win lead if it can, and then RPS in the back. With Altaria Crustle's very strong core, not very many things can really break it. So the opponent's Lanturn takes that Dragon Pulse, and then Altaria comes in pretty much to finish the job. Opponent's got a Dragonite in the back. Crustle comes in with those Smackdowns, able to do plenty of damage and shield up if I need to, but I don't really need to, but I will. Opponent goes for the superpower here. I mean, I could win by shielding the superpower, or I could win by no shielding the superpower, farming down with Altaria, and then farming down with a shield against the Lanturn. So either way, I had a win condition. Opponent deciding that their shields are not necessary against this fast move-oriented team, and they are going to go down here to the Dragon Breath after this, even though I take the Thunderbolt, they take the loss, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. Getting into our next battle here, we've got Dragonair on the lead versus a Jellicent. Normally not a great matchup because I normally would have water and normal type coverage, which in a Jellicent is pretty bad. But opponent gonna go for a potential Shadow Ball. I'm gonna respect it, and they go for it. So it's a good shield here. Gonna go for the Dragon Pulse, as my my Patreon subscribers who use this team promised me that this wasn't gonna get shielded, but they shield the Dragon Pulse, and I'm just like, all right then. Opponent going for another charge move here. I'm willing to go 2 shields down here in order to win this matchup, as I don't really want to deal with this thing potentially being landed on my Crustle. So, gonna farm down, have a bunch of energy for the road. I probably should have just farmed up to the Dragon Pulse and sent it. But I'm hoping the opponent maybe thinks that it's Dragon Pulse again, and they do. I'm going to come in with Altaria. Opponent's got an Ampharos, and this is getting very, very as my Crustle not really looking to have a good time against that Metachamp. Opponent goes for a Thunder Punch here. Not even, you know, they don't even have a Brutal Swing. I have to go for the Moonblast here because Sky Attack is resisted, and this would not be good for me to lose my only real answer to the Metachamp. Opponent gets to a move, and I'm 1 turn away from the Sky Attack, man. So what I got to do here, they have Ice Punch. I'm going to just come in with Crustle and hope that I can get to an X-Scissor in time. Smackdowns do add up quite a bit here. They do chunk, and X-Scissor is going to be able to go off. Now, my opponent has to have Dynamic Punch, essentially, in order to win this game at this point. I should be able to just go for the X-Scissor and then quickly swap into my Dragonair and Dragon Breath down from where they're going to be. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and that's going to win the game here, so well played to the opponent. Again, Dragon Breath just absolutely ripping through everything. Mantine on the lead in the next game. Very, very risky lead. Everything here has play, but at the same time, Mantine also just kind of has a lot of play against this team. So we're going to go, because if they have Ice Beam, I'm in trouble, right? I don't want to find out that they have Ice Beam. So they go into a Lickitung immediately. I'm going to stay in for just a little bit to throw this Dragon Pulse and do a lot of chip damage. The opponent doesn't shield this, and I'm going to be able to throw in my Altaria here and get a full farm down. And if they do shield it, then at least I have a shield up, but I have no idea what I was going to do at that point. So I'm just going to go in and go with the Altaria as I expect and just farm all the way down. Have the energy ready for the Mantine when it comes back in, as they did throw the Aerial Ace and dip immediately, so they have no energy on it, and going to be able to get that farm down, which is huge. So now we're going to see the opponent is either going to come back in with the Mantine or show me their third Pokemon, depending on what they want to do. They come in with a Vigoroth here. I'm hoping to be able to get to both of these Sky Attacks before they're going to be able to get to a Body Slam to KO here. And so we're going to get the first shield, but get into the Sky Attack, and thankfully the opponent is not going to be able to get that Body Slam in before I get to this goodness, my brain just stops working every so often. This is why I can't be an official shoutcaster, because I'll be shoutcasting and all of a sudden my brain just stops. So I'm going to go in here with the Dragonair and hope to get some damage in. I want to basically smack down with Crustle, and then be able to not have to take a Rock Slide here. So they're going to go for the Body Slam. I don't have to shield this, and I'm not going to. I'm going to save the shields for the Mantine, as I should just need to get to 2 Rock Slides here, and because they have Aerial Ace and I have 2 shields, and I have an energy lead already, I should be able to just simply go for 2 Rock Slides here and end the game. So we're just going to have to see if the Crustle can outpace to that second move, or if the Mantine's going to be able to make it quick enough here. Shielding up the first Aerial Ace, definitely looking to shield up the second here, and the opponent does get there just before I get to my last Rock Slide. But now that I've got the Rock Slide loaded, I'm pretty sure Crustle's going to win CMP, even if there's a second move, which it's not, but I'm just going to go for the farm down because I knew they didn't have the energy for it. So good game. I was counting during the battle. I'm a lot worse at counting during the shoutcast or the playback, but when I'm playing the actual game, I was definitely counting, and they did not have enough energy for another move. So the Smackdown KO was fine there. But the opponent has a Rock Throw Magcargo, and that is a lot more dangerous for me here, as they're out-damaging me and outpacing me to these, well, not outpacing me to moves, but outpacing my HP bar by quite a bit. So now, basically, I got both shields, which is nice, but now I'm going to have to eat a Rock Tomb or a Stone Edge. So I'm assuming that most Magcargos will run Rock Tomb. Not going to do nearly as much damage as a Stone Edge would do. I'm hoping, man. I got to get rid of this thing for my Crustle's sake. Going to go for the Moonblast against this Metacham, but it's not going to be nearly enough to KO here. I don't really know how I come back from this one, folks, but let's find out. I got 2 shields, and we're going to find out real quick. Crustle has to come in here, and I'm going to shield up the first move because I don't know what they're running, and they're going to go for a Power-Up Punch. I'm like, all right, awesome shield. Good job, Felrose. That's exactly what we want to do. Opponent goes immediately for another move here. I know it's a Power-Up Punch, so I'm not going to shield it. I'm going to let it go. Go for the X-Scissor right away so they can't do any more ramped-up counter damage to me. And at this point, I got to hope that maybe I have enough in the tank to deal with it. But the opponent's got a Trevenant in the back, which is kind of nice here, as they look to catch the Smackdown damage because they thought that maybe they weren't sure what the count was. But X-Scissor, that's the old X-Scissor count before it got the buff. Now we're going to be able to get the Trevenant down into the HP range where it can get farmed down and take that game. Well played. Dragonair into Dugong. This thing is a menace against my team here, and I have to stay in and just look to go for as much damage as I possibly can before they are going to be able to Ice Shard me here all the way down. They can go for Icy Wind, easily take me out here, but the opponent does something here which is nice for me, and they do not shield. This makes it so that Crustle could potentially come in and farm down, and I'm going to take that chance because if they have only one Ice type in the lead, I'm hoping that they don't have another one in the back, which is really the only thing Altaria doesn't care for. So the opponent now thinking about it, not sure what to do, maybe they don't know what to do with Crustle, comes in with a Vigoroth here, and we're going to look to go for this X-Scissor for the chip damage, maybe get the first shield of the game, and then swap to Altaria, because at that point, they're at least doing resisted counter damage, and those counters do add up very quickly into Crustle because it's got a very fairly low bulk to it. Gonna shield up what could be a Rock Slide. Thankfully, we do shield up the Rock Slide correctly. Looking for this full farm down to be able to put some pressure on whatever's in the back, and another Rock Slide for the road gets the shield before the Vigoroth goes down. Opponent has a Jellicent in the back, and I'm truly not sure how I'm going to handle this one. I do want to go for this Moonblast here, because I feel like I might want to go for this just in case I get the attack drop, but unfortunately I don't. So now I have to go for the Sky Attack, lose CMP unfortunately here, but I just need to see if my Crustle can get enough damage off here with this Sky Attack, and that's all I can really do here. So Sky Attack goes through, immediately swap back into the Crustle. Can we get to the Rock Slide and survive a Surf? That's what's going to really make the difference here. Does this Jellicent KO? Yeah, they do, unfortunately. Now it's going to be up to Altaria, but they're going to get to the Surf before we're able to get to a Sky Attack thanks to the increased energy. Now, maybe if I had gone for Sky Attack instead of Moonblast, I may have been able to win that, but it's a gamble. What can you do? But good game, very well played to that opponent. Now, we got a Frostlass on the lead in the next game. Now, here's the thing with Dragonair, okay? Dragonair in the 2 shields can actually flip this matchup if it doesn't bother to go for any charge moves. So you can see I can shield both of their avalanches, but if they go for triple axle, if the Frostlass has triple axle, they can actually win the 2 shields by just going triple axle and going for Powder Snow farm down. So very unfortunate. Opponent going to go for a green swap in here. I'm going to go for the Body Slam, go into the Altaria, saving the Crustle for potentially later in this game, and then At that point, we're just going to have to see what happens, right? You don't know what they've got in the back, but they've probably got something in the back that's weak to Metacham, weak to fighting, right? As they would have a Ghost in the lead, you would normally expect that. So they may have their own Vigoroth in the back, for example. So we'll just have to see what exactly comes out of this opponent's team here. I'm going to go for a little bit of extra farm because I'm counting, making sure that I'm throwing before their third or fourth Mud Shot goes through. And then the Sky Attack is going to take it out. The Frostlass is low enough that I could simply just farm down here with a shield, and I think I let it, okay, so we let it go here, Avalanche goes through, coming with the Crustle, and the opponent's got a Toxapex in the back. Now, this is not too bad because we resist the Poison Jab damage, so I'm not giving up quite yet. As we shield the first move. I know a Brine probably not going to be nearly enough to KO here, but I am looking to go for a couple of Rock Slides here. So we can go for the first one. One of these is going to get the shield, and then Dragonair does have just enough HP left to probably make a difference somewhere. So going to go for a Rock Slide. Again, Toxapex being as extremely bulky as it is, has very little attack. Brine does a lot, but not enough. Going to go for one extra Smackdown for the timing. Go for that free damage and get the Rock Slide off, and then come straight in with the Dragonair and look to farm down, and then the opponent's Frostlass is too low to be able to KO, and that's a good game, well played. Getting into the next battle here, we've got Dragonair on the lead versus Chargebug, a very, very good lead for this team, as Chargebug in general has very, very little place to go, and we're going to go for the Body Slam right away for some god unknown reason. I decided to throw on CMP the one time I decided to throw on CMP, right? So opponent comes in with their Hypno here to catch the move. I'm going to come in with my Altaria and hope they don't have Ice Punch. That's really all I'm going to do. And they're taking a while. They go on their 5th Confusion. This looks to be a Shadow Ball to me, so I'm hoping at this point they go for Shadow Ball, and I should be able to farm all the way down at this point. So 1, 2, 3, but they get to the move right before I take them out here, and I'm forced to either shield or let this go, and I do shield because I have so much energy. They get to the punch right before going down, unfortunately, but that's okay. Gonna go for the Moonblast, losing CMP, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, do I really want to go 2 shields down? I gotta do it. I gotta do it because whatever they got in the back doesn't seem to like Dragonair, and I gotta keep my Dragon alive. So I'm hoping I get a shield back from them with this, and I do, which makes it a little bit easier to pallet. Unfortunately, I throw with god-awful timing, and I let them get a whole free Volt Switch through. So, shame on me, but I'm gonna come straight in with my Dragonair here and let them hit me with the X-Scissor. At this point, let Crustle try and finish his game up and see what happens here. My opponent goes for Discharge, which is interesting, and then they're gonna come in with Altaria, and just by the skin of its teeth, which I don't even see a mouth on Dragonair, but I'm assuming it's got some teeth. It's got to eat somehow, right? Crustle's going to come in and finish this up. Not going to get KO'd by any one move, but Dragonair able to clutch this so hard by getting to that move at the very last second. Going to be able to allow us to take out this Chargebug by getting the Smackdowns in, get to this X-Scissor, even though it's resisted by the opponent's bug typing. Should do enough damage to KO, and if it doesn't, then Altaria could have come in and finished the game, but well played to the opponent, and that's going to do it for this run in the Retro Cup. Hope this team helps anybody trying to climb in the Retro Cup. I know it's, you know, a weird meta, especially early in the season, but Dragon has always been a very oppressive typing to be able to use in this league, and with all the Lanturns and Talonflames all over the place, I feel like this is a good fit for the meta. So let me know in the comments if you're playing the Retro Cup, how it's going for you, and we're going to catch you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.